The world is celebrating the moon landing. Newspaper headlines scream success. TV channels loop the same triumphant footage. But behind those celebrations, NASA quietly locks a single hotel room in Houston. A room that visitors were never allowed to enter. A room known only by insiders as Room 328, the Astronaut Isolation Suite. On paper, it was a simple idea. Keep astronauts isolated after returning from the moon so they don't bring back any unknown lunar bacteria. But as declassified notes came out decades later, it became clear NASA was hiding something far stranger. Inside Room 328, the astronauts weren't just medically quarantined. They were interviewed repeatedly about what they actually saw on the moon. Declassified logs show that NASA officers asked the same questions again and again. Did anything move on the lunar surface? Did you hear sounds inside the lander that weren't mechanical? Did you feel watched out there? These questions were never part of medical protocol, and yet they were asked every day. One log entry from the 27th of July 1969 mentions unusual behavior during EVA recount. Another mentions delay in disclosure. But the most chilling line is this. Transcript restricted. Notes sealed in secure locker. Do not release until advised. For years, Room 328 remained locked. NASA employees avoided talking about it. Even the hotel staff claimed they weren't allowed to clean it unless an agency officer supervised them. In 1992, when renovation crews finally entered the abandoned room, they found something odd. A microphone system hidden inside the ceiling vents, pointed not outward but inward towards the beds. As if someone wanted to record astronauts while they slept, without them knowing. Even stranger, a maintenance report mentioned damage to interior panels and deep scratches on metal surfaces, scratches no one could explain. The astronauts themselves were strong, but not in the way that could bend steel. One retired technician later said, "We believed the scratches came from equipment, but no equipment from that room was missing, and no equipment had marks like that." Rumors spread within NASA. Did the astronauts experience something psychological? Something they didn't want to talk about? Or something they couldn't talk about? A newly declassified audio memo adds another layer. The recording, marked confidential, contains the voice of an Apollo astronaut saying, "It was not just silence out there, something was listening." The memo ends abruptly. To this day, NASA officially denies that Room 328 held anything unusual. But the hotel never rented that room again. They sealed it, painted over the number, and quietly renamed the floor. Visitors say that if you walk past the hallway late at night, you'll hear a faint humming, like old machinery still running behind the wall. Others claim the door handle rattles when no one is near it. Maybe Room 328 was just a scientific precaution. Maybe the scratches were just wear and tear. Maybe the questions were just protocol. Or maybe the first humans on the moon returned with stories the world wasn't ready to hear. And NASA made sure those stories stayed locked, behind the door of a hotel room that officially never existed.